What's up, guys? Iceman here. Welcome to Diablo 4. If you guys will like this video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the page and hit the bell so you're notified next time I post a video. And blessings to ye, who are here to stay. So stay a while and listen, if you will. So my droid has improved by quite a bit, where I'm now regenerating spirit a lot, and I wasn't doing that before. Now, spirit regen, as far as I could see it, was the druid's shortcoming up until now. So it was a real pain in the ass leveling up the druid until you start maybe tapping in to your spirit boons and your later skills. So in this case, my guy's only level 37. I have been taking the road less traveled, alright? This is a spiritual journey that I am on indeed, and I'm not looking to rush it. I'm not looking to watch videos on what happens, or who you fight, or what the endgame is, or what sort of build to use even. So I'm trying to refrain from that a little bit. A little birdie made mention in my comments, and I happened to see it where you like fighting in Daryl or something. But that's fine. Don't really care. What I really care about is just the grind and the good time and the spiritual journey. So that's kind of what I'm on right now. But what I did with this guy is I went with this skill right here, Perfect Storm. It's one of your key passives, so you can choose one of these skills, and it only gets one level. This one, what it does is storm skills that you cast grant one spirit, and maybe that can be modified later, I'm not sure, and deal 15% increased damage when damaging a vulnerable, immobilized, or slowed enemy. So upon seeing this, I was like, aha! I must prioritize making enemies vulnerable, immobilizing them, and slowing them, because that's how I'm going to gain my spirit. So I started looking around on the tree here on things that would do that. And I found more than just a few. Here's one, for example. Electric Shock, which I actually put 3 skill points into, where dealing lightning damage to enemies has up to a 15% chance to immobilize them for 3.13 seconds. And if the target is already immobilized, the lightning damage dealt to them is increased by 18% instead. So I selected that, and then I have Hurricane as well, where it has a chance, a 15% chance, to make enemies vulnerable for 3 seconds. Of course, it damages them as well. And I chose a few other things, just really trying to prioritize immobilizing them or whatever the hell you can do. Make them vulnerable, so even with my Spirit Regen skill, which is Storm Strike, I went with this tier. Storm Strike has a 50% chance to make enemies vulnerable for 3 seconds. Alright, and there's many other things, and I'll get into it later videos and all that, maybe in this one a little bit. But here's what it looks like when it's active. And what I even did for Spirit Regen partly is I chose Blood Howl over my Cyclone Armor. Cyclone Armor was a defensive skill. I already have a defensive skill, which is Earthren Bulwark, which is very, very helpful. I use it all the time, especially when I need to regen more spirit. You fortify yourself with a big-ass shield, and they can't really knock you back and stuff, and then you just start chomping away with your axe or whatever you have to regen your spirit. And then you start doing the Lightning Storm thing. But yeah, Blood Howl, I have it modified to where it generates 20 spirit, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I have 116 in total, so it's actually a good amount. What this also does, which is a byproduct of this that I come to find was extremely helpful, is it's a healing skill, which I wasn't really considering as essential, according to my theorizing. I thought maybe I'll have 2 defensive skills and I'll be fine and I'll just heal with potions. But what's awesome about this is it doesn't have that bad of a cooldown, 14.48 seconds, and I can cool it down as I hit enemies with lightning, to my understanding, because you'll see my cooldowns go down as I hit things with lightning. I have something that's modifying that. I can't even remember at this point what it is. But I think it's in my skill board. I don't think it's gear. Maybe it's in my spirit boons. I'm not sure. But it's somewhere. And it's very, very helpful. And I'll find out whatever the hell that is in a future video. But when I do lightning damage, dealing damage has up to a 15% chance to restore 10 spirit. Okay, that's not what I'm referring to, but that's another thing that's key to maintaining spirit is this one, and there's probably a couple others. Nature magic skills have up to a 10% chance to reduce the cooldown of your ultimate skill by 2 seconds. Okay, so there's that. But maybe that's all I can cool down. We'll figure it out in a minute. Well, my point is, these healing spells are extremely helpful. This guy was performing vastly better when I could heal myself every 15 seconds or so than when I just had another defensive skill here. So it kind of led me to believe that perhaps a healing spell is pretty much essential for most builds. It would be my guess, but I haven't played most builds. So that's yet to be determined. But with this guy, a shield skill along with a healing skill, I think is probably the way to go. So basically, I get into the fray here. I'll start casting my main spell, and as you can see, my spirit is actually staying up quite well. A hell of a lot better than what it was before. And then I use this blood hell basically every opportunity I can, every time it cools down, because I'm always running out of spirit. So I'll just cast it. Even if I'm just running around out in the open world and my spirit's low, I'll just cast that shit. Because, of course, its main purpose, I think, is the fact that it heals you for 20... what percent of your life? 21.8 in this case. Oh, my God. Almost got obliterated by that. And that's another thing about Diablo 4, is there are a lot of things that could potentially get you in 1 or 2 hits. So you really got to watch the enemies you're fighting. When they're, like, really charging up to do a massive swing, they could just obliterate your character in 1 hit. In fact, I got my ass kicked by a boss just a little while ago that I have to return to after maybe getting some legendary aspects integrated in my gear. I've just been avoiding that. I found some legendaries. As you can see here, I'm not even using half these things. I don't even shape into a werewolf except for a brief moment when I howl, so I'm barely gaining off of this. But some of them I do gain from. These boots are kind of nice when while unstoppable, and for 4 seconds after, you gain 22% increased movement speed and can move freely through enemies. So kind of like those boots in Diablo 3 that allow you to move freely through enemies. This one is an epic item here. It gives a lot of damage, and I think this for both storm and earth skills. And I think this would synergize very, very well with this, what do you call them? Key passive. Nature's Fury, where casting an earth skill has a 20% chance to trigger a free storm skill of the same category. And in addition, casting a storm skill has a 20% chance to trigger a free earth skill of the same category. So, with that being said, it just, I mean, as far as I see it, that's 20% more damage. And it really looks cool, because you're casting lightning, and all of a sudden some earth skill will cast, like spikes from the ground, or whatever else there is for earth skills. I think boulder is one of them. You'll toss a big boulder, and it'll roll through enemies, just from casting lightning. So I think that's going to synergize really well with that shield, but the problem is, then I'm going to be lacking on here. So I think I need to find ways to regen spirit a little bit more effectively, and then try that build. But I'm going to try that build. I'll probably try it next video. But just to showcase this guy just a little bit more. Primary damage is this right here, this lightning storm. And in my case, I only have 1 rank into it. I'm not sure if it's worth maxing these skills or not, because you only gain 20 more damage or so, 23 more damage to be exact, per rank as far as I see it. Unless if it goes up exponentially as you level it, but I don't think it does. As you can see here, 232 damage per strike. In the next rank, it's 255 damage per strike. So is 23 damage really that big of a deal, especially when your attack power, so-called, is 639, which I think kind of correlates with damage? In that case, it's a very, very small gain. So I feel like I'd rather diversify my skills than pump that up, but I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe my numbers are off. Maybe I'm calculating this shit differently. Maybe this isn't like really your core attack damage per se. I don't really know. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any idea. But yeah, the nice thing is, and here's my Cataclysm skill, which I think is a big showcase skill. Really cool. Follows you around. And now that they nerfed Grizzly Rage, it's making this one shine just a little bit more. Didn't really mean to die right there, but shit happens. I was trying to watch my my Cataclysm skill, but Grizzly Rage, with how that has been nerfed, I think it brings a little bit more favor to this build, obviously. I don't know, maybe Grizzly, maybe the Grizzly build is still, in general, a better way to go, I'm not sure. But I've been pushing through with this build, and it has been kind of interesting, and I think overall it's been a pretty good time. So I will be making more videos on this guy. I'd like to try out the Necromancer and the Sorcerer. They're doing a little bit more damage now. Maybe I'll avoid that shrine just to showcase the damage this guy can do. Which, yeah, I think this probably is a challenge with the Druid. I've heard the other builds in general are doing better, so... But I'm going to try to continue on with this guy in veteran mode and see how it goes. And you can watch my cooldown of Cataclysm get chopped away a bit as I'm dealing lightning damage to enemies. If you see it, if you watch it closely, you'll see it jump around a little bit, which has been really helpful. The build is kind of ass still, but I would like to showcase this nice thing in my next video, because that was a really good time. And as long as I can try to maintain spirit, that might potentially be the better build. But then the thing with that is to make it optimal, I don't have to prioritize the immobilizing and all that crap that I benefit using Perfect Storm. And there's probably a better synergy for that other one, the Earth Lightning one. There's a better way to prioritize that than... so I might have to go back and tweak my build a little bit. Oh my god. A lot of damage right there now. So it looks like I'm going to have to start putting aspects on my gear. I haven't done that yet. I've just been a cheap ass. That's generally how I roll with these things, is I'm always a cheap ass. I'm always saving all the gold, saving all the legendaries, saving all the aspects, and I just don't spend them. But it's probably time where I start spending the aspects. Well, that's kind of where I am right now, so I appreciate you guys for watching. Like the video if you will. Let me know where you're at in Diablo 4. What build and class have you found the most enjoyable thus far? And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace be with you.